Hello, everybody.
What's
We're
up,
back.
Daryl?
We're back.
We're back. We are back.
Everyone's friendly neighborhood homeschooling parents back again to discuss homeschooling stuff and education things. Everyone get hyped.
Yay!
Yeah. It's Thursday. We're almost at the end of the week, people. How's everyone feeling out there?
um, I'm feeling good. Today was a crazy work day, but I'm okay. I'm okay.
Good, good, good. I had a busy day doing a lot of math with the kids, getting
Okay.
back into math this week after a long summer of no math. So brains are a little rusty, but we're
No,
dusting them off.
they did no math.
What?
You mean like kind of a study of math, right? But it's contextualized.
Yeah, we're doing the kids. The two of them are doing mathnasium. The other one's doing Khan Academy. They're getting back into. They're getting their math brains revved up for the semester.
What else are we? What else do we do? Okay. Do you want to talk about orientation? How we
Yes,
did orientation?
yes. Well, we posted about it for those of you who saw our posts on either Instagram or Facebook, or inside of our parade website. But yeah, let's go over it a little bit for the live. I think it's worth diving into
Okay. I'll
to
pull
help
up some pictures.
inspire some people.
I'll pull up some pictures. Why don't you start talking about what we're
Sure.
doing?
So we at the beginning of the semester we do an orientation with the family, which we kind of set up to be like a retreat, like a work retreat, as I hear they go, where it's kind of a fun day. You know, we get it either buy or make a big fancy meal, an exciting meal, not something we eat every day, and something special. And kids get excited about that and make it fun. And we're eating and we set up little PowerPoint, little mini, little micro PowerPoint, just a few agenda items, and we always start off with, our tradition is we start off with a photo or an image. This was our image. It's hard to see in this picture, but it's two puzzle pieces coming together with a cityscape background and the sun. And then we ask each kid to kind of interpret the image. What does this mean to you in the context of the new semester? And so everyone kind of talks. It gets the juices flowing. And we start talking about, what's in store for this semester. And then what else, Roy?
Well, rooftop, just for those who are asking. I think we're gonna have like 1,000 people on today.
I think you're right.
It's gonna be like 1 million people so interested in what we're talking about. The rooftop. What is the rooftop? What does that mean?
That's our school. That's the name of our school, which Roy came up with when the kids were like 5. I don't remember what was it was about.
It was the first. I don't know.
It was kind of a New York throwback kind of a thing, right?
Yep. So here we go.
So we set that up. We have our whiteboard in the kitchen, and sometimes it's full of art and drawings, and sometimes it's got a bunch of tic-tac-toes all over it. Sometimes it's got lists of remember to do this or IOUs. But that day we had our orientation board up.
Manipulatives on the table.
Yep.
Things to draw and play with, clay and putty and pencils, blah blah blah.
Yep.
That's what we have.
Yeah, and then we got started. So after everyone interpreted the image, then what did we do next?
Well, this image had a puzzle piece. Where is it? Let's go back. It's a puzzle piece with a light coming on, so it's like the dawn of a new beginning or whatever.
Stage, yeah.
A new beginning, a new stage, a new semester, and then there's the puzzle. So we asked them to interpret that. They were saying things like, what's going to click for me this semester? What am I going to put together? How can things connect?
Mm-hmm.
Some kids were saying, our kids were saying, connecting with people, connecting with skills, how to connect multiple skills together.
There was a lot of talk about, problem solving and making it work within COVID semester. So, some people think that, we're already set up for homeschooling, so we're straight, but really this is not what we normally do. They're sports teams have been canceled. The classes at community colleges are virtual. They can't take the bus to go visit friends anymore. Things are shut down for us too. So it's very different. The semester's gonna look very different than it normally does. And so we were talking a lot about how to make that work and what we have to sacrifice or how we can shift or pivot things. So yeah, there was a lot of talk about that. And then Roy asked them to draw, just kind of visually what they're thinking about with the puzzle piece theme. So they all kind of got into a little art. Do you have a photo of that?
Table. Maybe. This is
Yeah.
them getting down.
Yeah, getting into it a bit.
We
That's
try to
the
bring
meal. We had a special treat. We're usually a vegan household, but we had some smoked salmon, and then we had some. You can barely see in this picture some meat patties, but those are not meat. Those are Beyond breakfast sausage, which is a new Beyond Meat product that we were very excited to try for the first time, and it did not disappoint. FYI, for anyone who's looking for meat alternatives, Beyond is a delicious. They do the Beyond burger as well.
We bring the food in to have it. We play music. It's orientation. We try to have them relax and have
Fun
a good time. Special treats, and they're kind of enjoying this process.
Yes.
Then they kind of presented their drawing.
Yeah, they presented kind of what they were thinking and what they drew, and just a little more, brainstorming and kind of getting the mind going.
Well, and here, Lyris was talking about the different skills that she has, and then there's things that were locked, that were things that she knew she wanted to learn, but she hasn't begun. And then there was question marks. I don't know if you can see, but the question was, are things that she doesn't even know, but that she wants to open up.
Things that she might not even know yet that she was going to want to learn going forward. So that was interesting, yeah.
And so then this just gets the flow going, gets them thinking bigger picture, macro, and just kind of gets them going. And then this would be like Lyris's.
And then each kid went down kind of one by one and talked about what they want to work on in particular this semester. And it's a bunch of passion and things they love to do and they want to do. And then there was a few things that they're not super excited to do, but we kind of discussed how they are important and why. And they agree. So it's kind of like a little bit of the responsibility side, like what do you need to work on? That's important. Basic skill stuff.
We underlined kind of the top 5 or 6 things that they really wanted to focus, because it could be a lot. And then we'll take this picture, and at the end of the semester, we'll go and kind of share this again and kind of do an assessment of how it went.
Right.
This is there's like a puzzles going to get different skills, and
yeah. So it was a good time, and then I followed up with them and kind of put together their schedule. So if they have reoccurring classes or reoccurring activities, they put them into their Google Calendar. We have to get that organized so they feel ready.
So we officially begun the semester.
The semester has begun, and what's also begun is our parade. Community and Resource Hub has begun, and we're very excited about it. Can you do more balloons? Balloons, please.
Balloons? Oh no, 1 second.
The official launch. It's launched. The website is launched.
Yeah.
Yay! Our parade. We've got a few people already joined. Thank you. Shout out to everybody who's joined so far. Appreciate the support and getting it going, getting it started. So we started it off, and it's been exciting. Not as many people as we had hoped have jumped in the beginning, but it's a new platform, and we're figuring a lot of people are super busy time of year. First of all, new platform can be intimidating sometimes, even though it's very user friendly and really a beautiful space to be in. It's very nice to be in. It's clean and a lot of photos and easy to navigate and organized. And anyway, we're really excited about that. Very excited. And I think I think I think it makes sense to talk a little bit about the vision for it and go into a little more detail. For those who have not joined and thinking of joining, considering joining, but not sure if it's worth their time and energy to come onto a new platform. Um, right? I think we should talk about more details.
Sure. You want to talk about the details? I was gonna ask if there was we had some challenges. Do you want to talk about that now or?
The challenges.
Hmm.
Um, what? Which challenges?
Just the things around getting people on,
I
or
mentioned that just people are if people are not coming in as quickly as I had hoped or we had hoped they would. But I think that it's a lot of it has to do with the fact that it's a really busy time of year, and also that it's a new platform for most people, I'm guessing, because Mighty Networks is not a very common platform. It's relatively new. But and also, I mean, there may be an issue with that there's a paywall. I mean, that even though um, we did invite a ton of veteran homeschoolers in for free, and then we also have a 2-week free trial for anyone who's considering, and it's an extremely low membership fee at $4.99 or $9.99, which is pretty affordable. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it's this is an experiment. We've never done anything like this before, and so we'll see what happens. But
I think it's a platform. Like people are platform fatigue. They're like learning all this new technology,
everyone's on Zoom
Zoom.
now. Yeah,
So we're
it's a lot.
rethinking how to do this, and
Right.
yeah, it might change. I'm not
Yeah, we'll
platform
see.
religious, so
Right, we'll see. We'll see what happens. If it doesn't work out, we're ready to try something different and move it around. But ultimately, we're here to try to build something, whether it's through our lives and interviews that we're doing primarily, or if we're going to just keep it on Facebook, it's move it just back to Facebook, or just have a website, regular website that people can just click on, paywall, that kind of thing. We'll see. We're open to kind of pivot wherever we need to pivot. We're going to give it some time and see if it manifests the way we had anticipated or hoped. And if not, we'll pivot. So
we might rethink the whole thing.
yeah.
Um, and let me ask you this: if you were someone new to homeschooling, how would you use this site?
Well, when I designed it, I had myself as an early homeschooler in mind. I was channeling myself when my kids were young and I had first started out homeschooling, because I wasn't like a lot of the moms that I know and parents I know really researched this when their kids were babies and they were like all on board and ready and organized, and boom, when their kids started being of age where they started really needing to learn more concrete stuff, they were ready. I was not. I was thrown in when my oldest was already going into first grade. I had no idea about it, and I felt a little intimidated and overwhelmed. So I had to take a lot of time and energy to research, find out how we were going to do it, find the curriculums, talk to other parents. How do you do this? How do you do that? And then juggling 3 kids under 5 at the same time. So it wasn't easy. And so I was trying to channel that and be like, what would I have loved to have at that time? What would have made it easier and more welcoming and less intimidating feeling back then.
And what is that?
So basically pulling together all the resources into one place, so you don't have to spend hours and hours, combing the web to find things. And then when you find things you don't know, can you trust the reviews? I don't know. I mean, depends, blah, blah, blah. So these things have been well reviewed and tried and tested with all of the community that we've known, and then some, over 11 years. So most of them are pretty solid. You're not going to be clicking on any, resource and having it be a total bust. May not be a perfect fit for your family, but you can get an idea. Plus, if you're in the site, you can ask, who's used this? What was your experience? What kind of learners did you have? What kind of, which of, what style is your kids that thrived with this, and which ones didn't? Which one projected, that kind of stuff. It's just all right there, and you can do it from your laptop or your phone. You don't have to go to park day and make the time, between running after your kid who skinned their knee and like chasing after the other kid who picked up a stick and is chasing another kid, try to get 2 words in edgewise with the other mom. You can sit at the end of the night in your bed in your laptop and kind of peruse and type and chat, and it's all right there. So to me, that would have been amazing. Um, so that's why I'm trying to fill. And also having the opportunity to have the resources and the community in one place, so you're not jumping from your Facebook group to the websites where the resources are back. It's all in one place, which
Well, we
is
talked
great.
about that a little bit.
Yeah, it's great. And then we're going to run weekly Zooms for those who like to do Zooms and connect with other people, with their seeing their faces like this. Those more introverted or busy don't have to, but those who want to and are looking for that can. And it's not just chatting about whatever, it's chatting around themes that are all have to do with what we're doing with our kids. So there's all relevant stuff. For example, one monthly theme is different styles of home learning. So week one is unschooling. We talk about that with resources and questions to get the conversation stimulating in a Zoom call. And then the next week is curriculums, and we go through like the basic curriculums like Montessori, Charlotte Mason, a few of the others, unit studies. Those are kind of some of the basic curriculums. And we give resources. We have a Zoom call about it. People share what curriculums they've tried, how it went, or people ask questions about different curriculums to other people in the Zoom. So stuff like that. I think to me, I would have just adored that. So I'm hoping that other people might want it too, or might need it, or find it helpful.
Some
So
people we've been working with, we've been talking to a few families who, because school started for everyone,
yeah,
and everyone's like trying to figure this whole distance learning, remote learning. There's the pods that are happening,
hmm
and then you have what we're doing, which is it's all been really interesting to me to
yeah,
see the reactions of everyone and the questions we're getting,
yes,
to find out like, oh wow, what are we doing?
right,
We've been trying to push. We wanted to move this work very for a long time,
yeah,
and it's this kind of family based interest led learning, um, and then COVID happened and people are kind of calling everything homeschooling, and they're giving it now these new things like pods and distance learning, remote learning, which I think is just like, what I'm hearing. It's like some things are going well, some things are a mess, and so what was someone like that in those situations? What would they get from the site or from the resources
someone who
that you?
doing families who are doing distance learning. I don't know. Okay. Well, I mean, some families, a few families I know, kids doing distance learning, and it's okay. They're doing all right, and those are you tend to be the kids who are like find school easy and helpful, and the kids who struggle anyway in the classroom are definitely going to struggle sitting in front of a screen in a Zoom. And I think what they could get from this community is they can talk to other families that are going through the same thing and just commiserate and be like, what's going on? This is crazy. What are you doing to supplement? How are you getting your kids moving, getting exercise? Like, how do you get your kids to sit still, or do they not sit still? How are you dealing with the teachers? And a lot of those things I don't know because we're not doing distance learning, but other families in the site will know, and the community will know and have experience, with that, and they can share ideas and connect, and then they can get inspired by all of these things that the unschoolers and the homeschoolers are doing, and see how they can fit that in to their kids' day. Or they can, like, if they're helping their kid with math, after hours, like the homework or something. I don't know if they're doing homework. I'm assuming they are. They can bring in some math games or math manipulatives to kind of help them get the concepts, or stuff like that. Or they can reach out to the teachers and say, "Hey, my kid's struggling with this. Can I do this with them? I heard this was a really good way of helping with supplementing math or supplementing writing. Can I do this?" And maybe the teachers will be open to it. It's empowering the parents to kind of to pay attention and kind of find things that they know their kids love, or they know their kids respond well to, and kind of incorporating that in to their day and into their learning.
If you just joined us, or if you're rewatching this, we're talking about many things. We've been homeschooling for 11 years and sharing our experiences. We launched a community hub, and we've been trying to advocate for family-based, interest-led learning. We find it to be powerful, but we realize that it's a journey to get there, and so people are in their spaces, and it's a very customized education experience. So that's very key to it, and there's a process to it. You can't just buy a kit and it all works out. In my opinion, maybe you can. I don't know. Let me know. If you're out there, say what's up to us, say hi, or ask us any questions, or tell us how it's going with you. If you want to just vent, it's important
Yeah.
to vent. We're here to
Um,
listen.
yeah, I mean, I think a lot of parents are like me, are feeling a little isolated with the pandemic life, and it's hard to find alternatives for your kids to do because they can't be out and about with other people and moving around as much. So it's nice to just to connect with other parents and just be like, whoa, this is crazy. What are you doing? I'm going nuts. Or what are you doing for self-care? How are you coping? Just have someone to talk to and connect with. I think is really important. So yeah.
So this episode is called Learning in Community. What does that mean to you?
So, learning community is everything. Community is everything. Even the most intro, because I'm a pretty introverted person on the spectrum of introvert to extrovert. I'm pretty introverted, but still, to me, in community is it's everything. It's making you feel like you're not alone. It's just observing, not even necessarily interacting, but observing what other people are doing to make you feel like you're not crazy, or you're not the only one that's going through that, or maybe I'm doing better than that person. That makes me feel a little bit better, because God knows there's times when I'm doing worse than other people. So just puts everything in perspective. It makes you feel part of something bigger than yourself, takes you out of your head. And you get, then of course, all of the support that you get from other caring people in the community, and all the learning you get from everybody else's experiences, older parents with older kids and younger parents with younger kids, all mixed together, sharing their experiences with each other. Is just really, really powerful. So you're learning
Patrick
as
says
a parent.
hi. Hi,
Hey,
Patrick.
hi Patrick. Thanks for showing up.
Yeah. Tired,
um,
yes, to feeling isolated.
yeah, it's rough. It's rough, man. This is a long time that we've been going through this. It's getting hard. It's getting really hard. So we're hoping that the
I had some
community.
revelations. Like
Yeah.
I kind of was talking to myself the other day, and
Mm,
was like, I want the best for my kids, right? Like, what
mm,
is that? And maybe this is what we're doing, and when we come, maybe in 20 years we'll look back like, we messed up here, we messed up there. But I really want the best for all. I think I was talking to my friend Dr. Derek Smith, who's a master teacher. He teaches education, leadership, and he works with different schools. We have interesting discussions. Sometimes I think I tire him out, but or do something to him. But he's pretty awesome, and he had talked to me about what he's doing with different schools, and there's other stuff that came out of that conversation that was really 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 cool, like working with parents and creating modules and helping them brush up on their basic skills rather than focusing on the students necessarily. So have parents brush up on their basic skills and different units, so that then when they work with their kids, they're kind of ahead of the game,
yes.
1 or 2 days or whatever, 1 or 2
Yeah.
lessons, and then they can feel like they can participate, because he feels like maybe that's the insecurity or issue.
I
But
think it's
that's
definitely an issue. Yeah.
that's a great point. I want maybe in the future he'll join us in one of these and talk to us about his
Yes.
work and what he thinks about education. I would love him to do that. But something that came out of that was how I would like, you want all kids to have be their best selves. We need right now. We need everyone to be their best selves, and I think really that's the purpose of education. How can we get all kids to be their best selves? Whether it's using what we're talking about, or maybe that's just part of the ingredients. Whatever it is, but getting all our kids, and um, I think that's what drives me, is what my revelation was like, why don't we just do our thing, not do a live, not do this website, like just work and homeschool our kids and keep it to
Hmm.
ourselves.
Hmm.
Because there's a lot of pushback, or something happens too, like people trip off of that, and like, oh my god, you invite a lot of people into your business when you when you open up. And so I think what drives me is it was a lot of things, but a main thing is like, how can we make this world a little bit better, and how can we make everyone's life a little bit better,
Hmm.
a little bit better, and I just I just was thinking of that and why what drives me to do this work.
Yeah, I like that. I agree. I think that you touched on a good point though about parents and working with parents, and I think that's a huge, huge part of this. Because I mean, when I was first starting out, and still to this day, I hear parents saying, "I could never do that. I could never. I'm not smart enough. I'm not a teacher. I couldn't work with my kids." And there is some truth to not being able to teach your own kids at certain ages and in certain, certain personalities. But really, helping parents understand that A, they don't have to teach everything. First of all,
Hmm.
that's not how it works necessarily. And B, that they are powerful and they know so much more than they think they know, and that it's not about knowing like facts from, third, fourth, fifth grade math or, whatever, or grammar, but it's about, facilitating your kids to learn, which they naturally want to do and will do when given the chance.
Right.
So it's some kind of training around that for parent support and training specifically, like beyond just a community with resources, but like workshops kind of thing. What
Right,
do you think
right,
about
right.
that?
And I think exactly, and so that's why that's really what drives me. So like, if we need to pivot, so we have maybe like I know you were thinking two different spaces is not the best,
Mm,
but website and then have maybe a more dynamic Google group, Facebook group, and do more lives and bring the conversation. I think that that could be a space that we want to evolve to. I would love to hear people's thinking out there, but
yeah.
and you, we'll read the comments if you're rewatching this and you want to leave some thoughts. Of course, we'll read the comments. So leave some thoughts around.
Yeah, we'd like to hear other people's thoughts about this too, so we can hear, like, we can understand what the community, what's resonating with the community, and any other ideas people have. We're trying to grow this and build it and take advantage of the fact that education is going through a huge shift right now. I mean, like it or not, it's happening, and we're in a really unique position because we have this different perspective about education and this different experience with it. So we want to try to galvanize all this energy, help the parents that are struggling, and empower and galvanize the parents that have been doing this for a while. And yeah, just build it up and try to take it somewhere important. And that's like what I was saying. That really helps all the learners and the parents of the learners be their best selves.
Right,
So
right. And I'm also thinking around like I think we talked about it either today or yesterday. I forget about like teacher liberation. I think that's a space I want to get into more. How can we create more spaces and opportunities for teachers to do their craft, right? Like how can we get them to make dynamic, amazing classes without any restrictions, and then take care of them and have people have access to have the community have access to these classes with
mhm.
the like rethinking that how to liberate teachers in a sense so they can get back to their one of the things I talked to Derek about is the challenges with assessments and what kind of assessments and how do you do that, just kind of breaking down assessments.
Yep.
um, and I think teachers for the most part are asked to teach to the test, to teach certain standards, and those standards are how do you measure those, and they're being measured by the standardized testing system that we all know can be a challenge. And so we need to rethink assessments, and how you can do different types of assessments and really measure how kids are doing. I like project based, or like you're defending some projects, or you're presenting a body of work. Like what we do at the end of the semester. I really like that stuff
Mhm.
because it feels holistic, um, and it feels organic.
Yeah. Also, I mean, I was helping a mom recently who was struggling because they just started homeschooling, and she's got a daughter who just started high school, and she's worried and stressed about documenting her work in terms of being able to transfer it. And there's so many like kind of simple hacks that you can do where you're creating your own transcript for your kid to send them to college. I mean, it's really we feel like it's so intimidating and it has to be official and it has to be, It really doesn't. I mean, there's, we've got some information under our teen resources on the site, but there's, you can find it. You can even just Google it yourself, and this stuff will come up. It's really not that hard to hack this for your kids. It just, parents don't know. They just don't know that it's possible, and then if they think it's possible, they don't know what to do. So it's like that's why it's so important that we all kind of bring our knowledge and resources together to really empower each other and just to educate parents especially. And educators. I mean, I think there's so many educators out there right now. I've been seeing on my Twitter, like, all these educators who are saying they're quitting, they're leaving, they're done with the school system, like, it's enough, blah, blah, blah. And like, there's these teachers need to be liberated too. Like, they want to be able to really rock and do their thing, and we want to connect them with parents that need them, students that need, and where they can really thrive and offer things that they want to offer and teach it in the way they want to teach it. So yeah, part of that is part of the, not to keep going back to the site, but this is a way to connect the educators with the families as well, who need teachers or need, a homeschool pod leader, stuff like that. So yeah, it's just, we got to keep getting the word out, and hopefully we can build something that really will support the community. Yeah. So what else, babe?
If you're just joining us or rewatching this, we're talking about our homeschool experience, about community, about liberating teachers, liberating students, the craziness that is school and education now, and what does it mean, and how to address it.
Yeah.
Leave comments, any ideas, things like that. There's a lot that we could talk about.
I know, there is a lot. I wish I knew what people wanted to hear the most about.
Well, we talked about the orientation. Well, actually, I want to talk about it's interesting, what the veteran homeschoolers are going through. What do you have any reflections on that? Like,
Sure.
with what you kind of see our veteran homeschoolers and how they're reacting to the situation and what they can offer. What do you think they're going through, or
I
something like
mean,
that?
I haven't been in touch with people as much as I normally am, obviously, because of
Right.
COVID. And I think everybody's going through what they're going through, but I mean, I think it's just, especially with unschoolers who are used to, or homeschoolers who are used to just going out and doing stuff all the time during the day, just being out in the world is especially hard, I would imagine. Like for us, where we're kind of confined, because the education is so much about the world around us, the community around us. We're out and about a lot. So I would imagine that that's hard. I don't know. I mean, I think people are just trying to make it work. I know a lot of parents are doing, their kids are in the community college. I know a lot of families who have teens that those are, that's our age range right now. So a lot of most of them are in community college, and most of them are continuing to do virtual community college. So I know that's happening. I don't know, but I don't know a lot of families with younger kids. I don't know if Patrick is still here. I know he has got a young child, and what their personal struggles are, or their particular struggles are with having younger kids. I imagine it's tricky with the energy, through the roof, and trying to keep kids, home a lot more. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yep. Also, some parents were asking more about curriculum. Someone that we were talking to who reached out. A lot of folks are into the curriculum thing,
Right.
which is an interesting discussion.
Yeah, that's usually where people go first when they first start homeschooling. They want a curriculum because they feel like there's some structure there, some guidance for them to kind of what to do first and how to do it. Totally understand.
And what do you think about curriculums, or do you think our kids get into curriculums, or?
Yeah, I mean, our kids have definitely used curriculums over the years here and there. They picked and choose, and for us, for our education philosophy, curriculum is totally fine as long as they are choosing it. We try not to force things, although we have forced things a little bit here and there when we felt the kids were, at certain times being unreasonable about it, about things, and we want them to at least try something. We do push a little bit just to try it, and then if they don't love it and they're not thriving with it, we can shift. But We like them to be open to trying.
Mm.
And so curriculum, yeah, I mean, there's all different types of things that could be considered curriculum. I mean, going to a community college is a curriculum. Go to a ASL class or or English class, and that's a curriculum. You could buy a textbook and bring it home and go through it, and that's a curriculum. You could buy like a preset program, like what's it called? Oak Meadow is the program, and that's a curriculum. A lot of people that I know, families that we know over the years, did Oak Meadow because it's kind of like a Waldorf-based one. So it's a little more along their lines. You could do workbooks, which is technically kind of a curriculum. You could take classes, online at OutSchool, and that's a kind of curriculum. So there's lots of different ways you can look at it. And yeah, I mean, as long as the kids are feeling good about it, I want to say, as long as they're feeling good about it, then I think it's appropriate.
Patrick was answering your question here.
Oh, awesome. Patrick says, challenge for little kids. If you believe in play-based learning, it's hard to have your child get experiences right now because of all the limitations. Yes, I would imagine that.
That's real.
It's rough. It's really rough.
Yeah, a lot of folks look at the curriculums as a space where they try, they put the kid on this roller coaster. I don't know, whatever, this train, and it takes them. I think curriculums are secondary. They emerge from um, the journey or the quest to find their knowledge, and as they get into it, then curriculums emerge, and it's like, oh, here's something you can learn, and there's like a sequence of that, and so I find that that's the relationship that curriculum that I experience with our kids is that curriculum emerges. Not we don't search them out necessarily, and especially when they're little, you can get workbooks and all that. I'm not saying that, but you really want them to play, almost what Patrick's referring to, how he says can't go outdoors with the air quality using our clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much we can't do right now. Yeah.
It's a shame because the play based stuff is important, especially when they're little. I mean, especially when they're little, but I still try to play with things as a person in their 40s, and that's how I start my education journeys a lot when I want to learn something new.
Yeah.
Um,
Play around with it.
Like not be afraid of failing if it breaks. Like when I started practicing these platforms for the lives, I went on live with my community, and and I would try different platforms, and they would just I would lose it. Like either there was echoing, I'm going live and it's all this echoing.
Mm-hmm.
But the more I practice, the more I figure it out, the more I get the better I get at it, and then at a certain point, you get a certain level of expertise that you feel comfortable offering it or doing it, but better, and I'm still learning.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, and then in that journey too, I'm watching videos, which can be considered some sort of sequential learning curriculum type of thing from people. Not necessarily going through, actually, I do some lynda.com and some sequence stuff if I need to learn something.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, I think that's how the kids are learning now through social media too. They're playing with it. It's fun playing. They're just doing it until they figure it out. They're like trying until they figure things out, which is definitely in line with the natural way that humans learn, in my experience.
We're at 40 minutes.
Okay.
You think people are tired of listening to us?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, people are busy too. Maybe people will watch it later.
Yeah.
We're getting a lot of views after the fact, so it's hard to match everyone's schedules up, especially around dinner time on a Thursday.
That's true.
Yeah.
I want a place. There's all this interesting stuff happening with commercial properties. Like companies are realizing they don't need necessary physical spaces, and people are learning how to work remotely. And I think that's here to stay for a little bit. I know there's some exodus from San Francisco, for example, and people are going other areas because they can work remotely. And I think
and pay less rent.
There's less rent, and there's some permanence to that. Like that's going to be, but I think
people
all
have
this
not to commute. I've heard lots of people saying they're glad not to have to commute anymore.
I know, and that actually helps with their environment, like less
Yeah.
commuting. Wow, you got a murder of
I've
crows
got a
around
murder of crows over here. They're driving me crazy.
here. But with these commercial spaces opening up, there's really an opportunity if things get back to us where we can go face to face to really play around with different. Hopefully, I don't know if they're going to be cheaper or more inexpensive, but maybe there's an opportunity to do some learning centers, which I really still like the idea
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
I just feel like that's one of the challenges as a homeschooler or whatever we do,
Yeah.
is we're always having to piecemeal these different spaces, and I just wish we had one space you can lock it up, and
Yeah.
you know.
Central hub. We all want it. Everybody wants it.
Hmm.
I've not met one person in all the years we've been doing this that has said they wouldn't make good use of a central hub. It's what the schools have that we don't. And if we had it, hey, Teresa, what are your thoughts on video tech learning for little kids? Hmm. Well,
What do you mean by that?
well,
Like,
yeah. I mean, I'm guessing what you mean is how much tech to let them use in terms of there's lots of. I mean, I'm imagine everyone's doing much more tech and screen now that we're all locked inside for most of the day, and so how much should you let them use, or how much should you let them be exposed to at a young age? I'm guessing. Correct me if I'm wrong about that. And for us, our kids are older, so when they were young, like when my kids were little, like preschool age, I just got my first smartphone, so it was kind of a little bit later, a little earlier in the curve of that. Um, so they weren't like on iPads when they were little because that wasn't really around yet. Um, and but we did give our oldest her first smartphone at age 12, I believe. She's 16 now, and I think she was very mature for her age, and so we thought she could handle it. And I think I wouldn't have given it so young. I don't know. This might be a little bit different because I'm talking about a 12-year-old and an iPhone, versus maybe preschool age kids with iPads or like other kind of touchscreen or laptop work. But yeah, I think you should be careful and watch your child and see how they react to it. I think different kids react differently. Um, yeah,
but if it's, I think there's consuming like a video. If you just take video by itself,
mhm,
there's a lot of consuming media, which
yeah,
I think, um, a lot of people are that, and then producers of media. Not many people know how to do that. So, if you can shift it to producing media, and maybe early, that'd
she's
be
talking
cool.
about really young kids, like preschool age kids.
So you think it's about being on
I don't know. Are
video?
is that an old enough age to be producing stuff
It
already?
says video
No.
tech learning. So maybe because I'm thinking maker spaces or making things. I don't know. Wait, little kids. Okay,
Yeah,
little
I
kids. I
mean,
mean,
like engineering stuff, like putting together like robots and stuff. Like I don't see that as the same thing as like being on a screen, like you're saying, consuming it from a screen.
but that is tech. I mean, I taught kids carpentry, which it was 5 year olds to whatever 12, and then I taught adults at Laney College. But putting stuff together, making, soldering. You can
Right.
do that at
That's
early
technically
age.
tech.
Yeah,
Right.
and then you
Yeah,
can still
sure.
produce. There's people who
And
produce a show.
yeah, and there's all sorts of
Oh, okay. She's saying
great.
like, okay,
Oh,
hold on,
go ahead.
like
Like
Zoom
Zoom.
classes.
Got it. I mean, Zoom is a little different because you're talking to another person. You're looking at a
Does
screen.
Teresa homeschool? Do you know?
I don't know.
Mm.
Teresa, she's been at media limits. Gotcha. She's been to other lives. So, um, Teresa, are you just starting out? And am I right that you have like preschool age kids or maybe a little older, and you're just starting out homeschooling? Media limits, yeah, definitely set limits. I mean, I think that every family is different on what those limits are, but I think you have to really pay attention to how your kids react. Like in our family, we have 3 kids, and they all react slightly different to media. Um, like our youngest definitely got sucked in more, and then when he gets off of it, he's like in kind of a weird mood, grouchy and like irritated and agitated. And when we started seeing that, we cut it way back because we were seeing negative behavior, negative effect of it. So you really have to just watch your kids and see how it affects them. make sure it's balanced, make sure they're also getting outside and having, you know, nature time, even if it's just a garden in your back patio or whatever it is.
Teresa says yes. I forget the question we asked her though.
Does she have young kids and she's just starting out homeschool? Yes,
got
she
it.
said
Okay.
yes. Okay, awesome.
I mean, some people might say like the radical unschoolers that I met in Vermont. They're like
Yeah.
no limits. Like they're like,
Right.
if your kid wants to eat ice cream for breakfast, that
That's a lifestyle.
the
Yeah,
theory is that eventually they'll realize that it's not good and they'll stop. I'm not
right.
sure about that.
I don't know when it comes to screen. I feel like, especially when they're really young like that, they're so susceptible. I don't think it's like saying this is. I know I'm gonna get flack for this, but it's like saying, yeah, you can try cocaine or alcohol when you're 5. I
Oh
mean,
God.
you don't like it, you know what I mean? Because it's so addictive.
Holy, I think we gotta go.
Did I just put my foot in my mouth? It's addictive, you know. And it can be really damaging. So I think that you have to be careful, and that's my opinion. I mean, obviously the radical unschoolers would disagree with me, and I'm sure I'd love to get somebody on and talk about it, and we can have a discussion. And I'd love to hear their thoughts. I honestly would. I'm open to having my mind changed, but
I can't wait till we get there where we can bring on like all these people from different education paths and just kind of, I want this show to be that. I want that to have, we have Derek's and we have this person and that person, people from reformers to radical unschoolers, and maybe have them in the same panel. Like,
oh boy, that would be
explosive.
I think it would be so great though for people to connect and talk and share their opinions. You know, as long as everyone keeps it profesh. I think it would be amazing. It would be amazing to share.
Yeah, I think so too. There was something that so talking about our oldest who started at 12 consuming, as a homeschooler you have a lot of time to do whatever you want, so that it can really take over your, and so she actually went on a serious binge of TV and movie watching, which was really scary for me, and I'm in that industry, sort of, kind of, but yeah, just I know it, and so but she ended up like studying TV and film at a level that's really high level. Like she knows the directors and the writers, and she knows lighting and
casting, every angle of it. She studies
casting, everything, and so she produces videos. And I would love to show her stuff, but I don't know if that's appropriate. But it's like amazing stuff because she's.
We could link it after we post this in YouTube.
She probably will be mad at us, but yeah, maybe we can show it
because it'll give people an example. I mean,
should I bring it up now?
Sure.
Or is that weird?
I don't know. But basically she's the type, her personality was, she didn't get sucked in to consume. She ended up thriving in it and learning in it. So I don't know if every child would do that, but she has the brain and the kind of creative mind where she went there with it. So she technically, I mean, honestly, I think she has a PhD in this kind of stuff. That she talks to. We have family who are in the TV and movie business, and she talks to them, and they're adults, and they're like, yes, you're there. Like, let's talk. I want to hear your opinion. What do you think about this? And what do you think about that? And what did you think of that choice? And this, this cinematographer, whatever. So, and she's 16. So, it can work for some kids like that, but then another kid, it might just suck them under and really just turn them into a basket case. So again, you have to really watch your child. You know them best. If there's not a negative behavior coming out of it, then cut it back. That's the long answer to the question.
I don't have her.
We can put it up later.
Okay, I think it'd be
Post
cool.
it later.
Oh, here it is. I got it.
We're coming up on 45.
Oh, we are. Okay.
Yeah. We're past it actually.
We are. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on. Let's see if I can figure this out.
Yeah, I think there's I think it would be good to hear other people's opinions about that as well. That's just my opinion. Oh, you got it.
Yeah? Tell me if you can hear it. I'm not sure if it's too loud. But this is a piece she made.
Sure, let's just, for anyone
She made this in early COVID, right?
Yeah, this was like within the first month, I think.
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Is it too loud?
Not to me. Our oldest daughter, that's our middle daughter, is the
Oh, I'm just a kid. I never use my brain. I only use my heart and my imagination. Oh, I'm just a kid. I always make mistakes. I never say I'm sorry. 'Cause the mistakes that I made, they're ready.
Yeah.
That's it.
I thought it was pretty good. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought
And
it was pretty
that
nice.
was our other daughter acting in it.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it was
so
kind of you're kind of showing, just youth, what it's like to be a teenager emotionally. There's a lot of emotions.
right. But I mean, that's the point. Oh my God, this doesn't want to stop playing now. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
All right. Could you hear it out there? No.
I can't. No.
Oh, okay. I thought you could. But that's part of her consumption that we were scared. But she produced, she shot, edited, colored,
Mhm.
directed it, thought of the idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Style, her sister.
So, and she really enjoys that, and so it's something.
Yeah.
And she has a bunch of other stuff too. But I don't know.
Yeah.
It's,
So I mean,
it's a complicated.
it is complicated, but I think ultimately the simple answer that's not complicated is to trust your kids and trust yourself for knowing your kids.
Yeah.
If you're a parent, that's any parent that's going to be starting off some kind of education like this is a parent that's paying attention, that's living intentionally in some kind of way, and you're capable of understanding what's going on with your kids and when something is wrong and when things are going right, and so just pay attention and listen and trust them.
Yeah.
As they get older too, and even when they're young, I mean, listen to them, trust them. They feel things, and that's something, that's important to listen to.
There's
So-
also, I mean, just to like keep maybe going for a little bit longer. I know we wanted to do 45 minutes. Now we're at 53.
Okay.
But the idea is that radical unschoolers would say, when I met those kids, actually, they were pretty amazing. They were really like not rough around the edges, like they were like, I mean, when I first met the homeschoolers, they were looking me in the eye, and they were like little adults in little kid bodies. This was like maybe 50 times that, and it was like really past. Like I was like, whoa, this is just like they're just another being type of thing.
I remember you told me that it was like our society, how it's set up, like didn't apply to them. Like they expected the same respect as an adult from you, and they treated you like an adult. Like, you know what I mean? It was like the same level. It wasn't
Right.
this hierarchy that we have with adults, and
Exactly, and but if you think about like what Akilah Richards talks about in terms of like not maybe it's more our issue. I mean, I don't know. Could you let your kid go crazy? I know
Right.
the Samantha Cook was talking about that as well. About she had a conversation or dialogue around consumption of media and how far it should go, and whether you should even limit it. Like it's their
Right.
world. Some people say it's Gary V talks about that as well. It's like that's their world. Leave them alone.
Right.
I don't know. It's a hard one. It's a hard one to answer. I don't think-
It is a very complicated one too. Yes.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
again, I'm going to say that what I said before is my opinion. There are so many other opinions out there, very respectable opinions, and experiences. So yeah, I think you definitely need to ask lots of different people, and then decide for yourself what's right for you guys.
Yeah, I think if you balance it out, I mean, ultimately, but then, if you talk about the unschooling or the radical unschoolers, like they would say, let them, no holds bar, let them go.
Right.
And there's something to that that's attractive. Something
There is.
that is attractive, but also scary. Like I don't
It's
know.
radical. That's what radical is. It's attractive and scary. There's so much potential there because you're busting something wide open and just doing it your own way and making it very free. but there's also a huge responsibility that comes with that because it's so outside the norm and it's kind of unprecedented. So there's a little dangerous, but not necessarily in a bad way, but it's risky. You're taking a risk. You're going out far outside the box. So yeah.
Yeah. So when are we doing this again? Do we know?
Not yet. We'll announce it on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, like us on Facebook and
Yeah.
YouTube. Follow us on Instagram.
And come join our parade if you are so inclined. www.ourparade.com.
This is literally our parade. Like we're just walking through this thing, and we're sharing that parade with you guys. You can join it.
Yeah.
Or you can watch it from the sideline.
Yes, absolutely.
I have no clue.
Yeah. Right on.
All right, we're out of here.
Hey,
Right?
thank you guys who showed up and made comments, and everyone who's watching.
Yeah.
Have a great rest of your evening.
Cheers. Bye.
Stay safe.